What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we're here today with the review for The Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is season 13, the reunion part 1. I don't know why we needed a 3-part reunion, but we got one nonetheless. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to try to back out of the screen just a little bit, you guys, so that way you guys can see everything. So I don't know in which order the ladies are. I'm looking at the photo of the ladies. I would assume Candy is over here and Drew is right here. I know Candy's on the far end and I know Cynthia's on one end, but I don't know which end they're on. But suffice it to say, I know the order that the photo is on. Candy was on the far left, or is it the right? Far left, I think. It is my left. Because how the picture looks on my phone, she's on this side. But we're talking about the ladies' looks before we get into the review. So I just want to talk about, the looks and which look I like more and which look I don't like. So we're gonna start up with my favorite. My favorite is actually a toss-up. It's really a toss-up. I think for me, my favorite actually goes, it's a toss-up between two women. It's a toss-up between Portia and Cynthia. But I think I'm going to go with Cynthia. I like Cynthia. I don't necessarily like Cynthia's hair, but I love her dress. So I'm gonna say Cynthia, then I'm gonna say Portia, then I'll say Kenya, and then, God, I don't want to say Drew, but Drew is next. Although I don't know what the hell it is on the back of Drew's hair. Then last is gonna be the mistress, the night angel, whatever you want to call her, mistress angel, whatever you want to call Candy. That looks a hot goddamn mess. I know she was going for Dita Von Teese, but you should have kept it. Should have kept it. Should have kept it. But you guys, without further ado, let's get into the review, shall we? All right, you guys, so the reunion. Again, like I said, I don't understand why it's 3 parts. This season didn't even give us 3 parts. Let's see how long these notes are. My notes are pretty long. All right, one thing I want to say with Cynthia. Girl, retire 50 Cent. How old are you now? Ain't you like 54? I mean, you still look good for your age, but girl, let's retire 50 Cent, please. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. You look good, but we need to retire 50 Cent. If I hear 50 Cent one more season, I'ma scream. Just keeping it real with you. But I mean, you look damn good. She's 54 years. I was right. She's 54. Yeah, girl. 50 Cent was 4 seasons ago. But whatever. So we talk about the ladies, and we talk about COVID, how much weight the ladies gained. I mean, they all looked good to me. I mean, shit. Ain't nothing wrong with gaining some weight. Hell, I gained weight. Andy was talking about he gained 10 pounds. I think I did not gain any weight during this pandemic. I have not gained weight. My weight has fluctuated. Like my weight, like where I'm at now, my weight some days it's stagnant or it goes down maybe 2 or 3 pounds. And then I put that shit right back on. I'm like, what in the crap is going on? But Kenya talks about she lost, how much weight did she say? Did she say 30 or 40 pounds? Congratulations to her. But she said most of it was her boobs. Cynthia's lost 10 pounds. Portia, love you to death, but girl, who were you fooling talking about you was a baby vegan? Baby vegan my ass. You was a lie. You was a lie. A lie, don't care who tell it. You was never a baby vegan. If you was a baby vegan, then I weigh 120 pounds. And I ain't weighed that since I was in elementary school. But okay, Portia. I see you. Still love it, but whatever. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So since I'm talking about Portia, let's get into Portia. So we found out that Portia actually had done a PSA for the Senate runoff. So she had her sister in it. She had Drew in it because Andy asked, with Drew being new fast friends with Portia, did her activism make her want to do something? She says yes. She says, we even did the PSA. So, like I said, Portia was in it. obviously. Cynthia was in it, Drew was in it, and Lauren was in it. So I didn't see Candy. I did not see, well, I'm not surprised that Marla wasn't in it, but I didn't see Candy in it. So then someone, sent a question about why does Kenya question Portia's activism? Which is a good question. Why does she question it? So Kenya says she doesn't question her activism, but I'm like, really? Really? You don't question her activism? You weren't on camera with Candy asking why was she getting herself arrested? Now, it could have been editing. I don't know. So I'm not going to sit here and, pretend like I know what happened. But I will say you did go on Candy Speak on it, which I didn't watch it. I actually stopped watching Candy Speak on it so long ago. I stopped watching Candy Speak on it the week that Don Juan was, doing it, because those comments about Don Juan was so disgusting. It's so interesting when you see 30 plus year old men and women in the comments section just saying the most vile and disgusting things about people. Like, people were attacking a man's sexuality. Like, so because he had an opinion about Kenya, y'all gonna talk about his sexuality? Like, grow up. Like, that is one of the things about Real Housewives of Atlanta and Potomac that gets on my nerves. It's the stands. They are the most disgusting group of people. Not all of them, but some of them. Just the most disgusting, gutter-filled people. Actually, I'm gonna call them what Iana says, gutter snipes. Like, they are disgusting. Like, some of the things that y'all say to people. Like, even last season on Potomac, when Robin was telling that people said that her and her family should, be, like, it's just disgusting. Like, that's why I'm really, when it comes down to reviewing Atlanta for season 14, I'm contemplating about it if I want to do it or not. Like, I love my people who watch me, but it's just something. It's just the fandom. Like, some of y'all take this show too literal. I don't understand how, and I don't understand why, because you would think that some of you guys know these women personally, the way that y'all defend them. It's like, it's a show. It's not that deep. Like, they film for 6-7 months out of the year, and then they condense that down to an hour an episode for 20 episodes or so. It ain't that deep. It ain't that deep. Just got to put it out there to you. Like, I don't understand how you can have so much hatred for a person that you don't really know. I'd be damned if I'm finna give somebody that much, of my attention. Like, y'all do realize that just like love, hatred is an emotion, and it takes a lot to, just like it takes a lot to love somebody, it takes a whole lot more to hate someone. But, I'm not going to preach to y'all. I'm just going to get off of that. So Kenya felt that if Portia's saying she's going to be a bigger person, then why didn't she, invite her to be on the PSA? Honestly, I can agree with Kenya on that one. I can see both of their sides. I can agree with Kenya. If, this is for a good cause, then I'm not going to sit here and say, no, I'm not going to do it. Like, why don't you extend the invite to me to be a part of it? But at the same time, I can see where Portia's coming from. Portia's like, if you ain't been supportive of me up until this point, why would I want you to be on my PSA? So I get both sides. Do I think that they could have met in the middle? Absolutely. Portia could have sat down and had a conversation with Kenya saying, hey, Kenya, I'm having this PSA, but you know what? I have a bit of an issue with the fact that you've gone around questioning my activism. And that would have given Kenya time to say, hey, whatever she wanted to say. Yes, I questioned your activism, but I questioned it because of this, this, and this. And if, they could have moved, I don't know. I'm really going to be honest with you guys. I'm so sick of Portia and Kenya. Honest to God. If they both come back, honestly, when it comes to Real Housewives of Atlanta, which I know that for season 14, I've heard the rumors that they want Phaedra back. Please, for the love of God, don't do it. Don't bring her back. I know Candy says she won't come back. Don't care, but I don't want Phaedra back. Honestly, what I want for Real Housewives going into season 14, we need an overhaul. Like, Real Housewives of Atlanta, like they say with OC, needs a facelift, so does Atlanta. I think pretty much all the Housewives franchises need a facelift. with the exception of Salt Lake City, which is brand new, and Potomac. I think Potomac is great as is. I think Dallas could use a facelift. I think Dallas, I know they with them adding Tiffany Moon this season, that's a good move. But I think Dallas needs to add someone who's black. Honestly, I don't know how that will work here in Dallas. I don't know how that'll work. That would be interesting to see someone black on the Real Housewives of Dallas. That would be so interesting. Ooh. I've told my cousin this plenty of times that she needs to go on the Real Housewives of Dallas, but she says she'll be fighting them heifers. Oh God, I love my cousin. She probably would. But yeah, I think Dallas. So yeah, I think all the housewives need a facelift. I think New Jersey needs one. I think Beverly Hills. We'll see what Beverly Hills is bringing this season. I'm reviewing that, and we'll see what New York is bringing. New York typically brings it, but we'll see what they're bringing this season. But with Atlanta, it needs a facelift. It needs one badly. I can do without Cynthia. I can do without Candy. I can honestly at this point I can do without Portia and I can do without Kenya. They could bring back some of the nieces. I can do without Marlo. They could bring. I know people are gonna get me for this one, but they could bring Drew back. They could bring Shamia back, and they could bring Latoya back, and then add some more housewives. I think at this point we might need to go a little bit younger, but at the same time you could add some older women. Do what Potomac is. Do like Potomac. You have Ashley, you have Candace, and you have Wendy, and then you have the likes of Karen, Giselle, and Robin. So yeah. But Portia. Let's wrap this up with Portia. So we talk about Coach Dennis. I really don't care. I don't know why we talking about Coach Dennis. We know that they're not together. But Portia says that she and Coach Dennis are working on, being a family. Does that mean co-parenting? Because that was a riddle. She said they're working on being a family, but y'all not together. So I guess y'all co-parenting. Whatever. She also says that she went on a date with someone and the dude was young and it didn't work out. Somebody that Toya set her up with. That was her problem right there, going out with somebody that Latoya set you up with. But whatever. Let's move on. All right, you guys. Next, we talk about Kenya. Kenya. Someone left a comment last week about Kenya and the fact of you don't want to throw in the towel with your marriage. I get that. You don't go into marriage looking to get divorced, and that's honest. That's the truth. I get that. That is actually one of the reasons that I don't. When it comes to me talking about marriage, I don't think I want to get married because I don't want to go into a marriage just to get divorced. I've said this since I was a kid. I don't want to get married just to get divorced. But in Kenya's situation, it's different. Like, how do you try to work out a marriage with someone that is a complete A-hat? He is, and I think, honestly, I think Mark takes great pleasure in seeing her in this position that she's in. I think Mark takes great pleasure in it. Like, I really feel that way. So we find out that Kenya and Mark, they're still in court. She wants full custody of Brooklyn, which no, I don't see no problem with that. You've been with her since she was born, so automatically I would want you to have full custody of your daughter. I would not want her with Mark. I just don't feel like he is emotionally sound to raise that child. I don't. And then I feel like even if the courts didn't grant him custody, I feel like Mark would do everything in his power to poison Brooklyn against Kenya. So then she also says that she filed for divorce, but I thought I saw on the blogs that he filed for divorce on her birthday. But suffice it to say, they are getting married. So then Andy asked a question of Candy and Cynthia about her relationship with Mark, and I'm with Candy. Like, you can see that Kenya is not happy in this marriage. Why stick in it? Like, again, like I said, I know you don't go into a marriage to get divorced, but if you are in your marriage and you are not happy, You wake up every day having to fight with your husband or your wife. Why would you want that? And I know most people stay in it for the kids. Don't do that, because all that's doing is hurting your kids. I would rather, it's better for you to divorce your husband or your wife and co-parent with your kids than to stay in a loveless marriage where there is hatred, toxicity, and your kids are there to see it. Like, look at Melody and Martell from Love and Marriage Huntsville. Those kids are going to grow up to resent their father, and they might have a little bit of bad feelings toward Mel for sticking around as long as she did. If you get to a point in your marriage where, like I said, it's toxic, it's no love there, you're only hurting yourself and those involved. But Kenya says that, she felt like if it weren't for the pandemic, that she and Mark could have been together physically and figured out if they were going to stay together or not. I have to disagree with you, Kenya, on that one. Because you guys remember last season in that episode when they had that event. Kenya, he was rude to you at that event, and then he dipped out on you afterwards. Mark has shown you for a while who he is. Like the old saying goes, let a person show you who they really are. Once the facades come down and they show you who they really are, believe them. And Mark has shown you who he is. Like, I really wonder, before Kenya and Mark got married, like, what face did Mark show her? Because this face that we see now, and I know when you go into a relationship, you don't show your cards right away. And that's why when Kenya got married, that's why I was, skeptical about the marriage. Not just because, people come at her about her relationships. I was just skeptical because I'm like, you just met this man. You haven't been with him that long. And yes, you guys may have had a whirlwind romance, but life is not a fairy tale. You know what I'm saying? And just because he showed you, he wined you, he dined you, he did all this nice stuff to court you and get you, it might not be that way once the dust settles, once the marriage is not so new anymore, once you guys have been in the marriage for any length of time, then the real him is going to come out. And unfortunately, the real Mark has come out. And, honestly, like I keep saying, I really want what is best for Kenya and for Brooklyn at this point. So then Kenya says, Mark has been petty, that he doesn't want Brooklyn, which I think we all knew that. I think we all know that he doesn't really want the custody of Brooklyn. I think what it is, and I said it plenty of times, Mark doesn't want Brooklyn on the show, which I don't understand that either, because Brooklyn was on the show all last season, but now this season you have an issue with it. Again, like I said, Mark is being petty. Mark knows that is part of, when it comes to the Housewives, that they have to be open about every aspect of their life, and that includes the kids. That's why a lot of women on Housewives, that's why a lot of people that you see when they're filming and their names are being thrown around for Housewives, and I'll give you two names in particular that jump out. Sutton Strack from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and actually LaToya from this season. LaToya and Sutton, especially Sutton, because I remember last season, season 10 of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Sutton was a diamond holder, and Sutton had filmed her her title card and everything, because I saw her with her diamond, but her diamond got snatched from her because her ex-husband would not agree for the kids to be on the show. Which actually, here's an interesting question, because that begs the question. Brandi Glanville was on the show, but I know at one point Eddie didn't sign on for those kids to be on the show. Interesting. So I wonder if Mark was doing that to be petty, like, oh, you want to do your job? Let's see how you do your job with our child not being able to be visibly seen on the show. Kenya, get out of that shit. For real. Get out. So we find out that Kenya's mom has sent, Brooklyn some gifts. So that's a good thing. That's definitely a good thing that her mom is acknowledging it. I'm happy for that. So someone asked Drew the question, why does she talk about Kenya's marriage when her marriage ain't perfect either? But then Drew goes off on this tangent talking about the fact that Kenya called her a stray. I was like, huh? What they got to do with anything? Really confused by that. But Kenya half-ass apologized about it. I was over it, to be quite honest with you guys. I wasn't listening to it. Really wasn't. So let's talk about Kenya with her Halloween costume. She got a lot of flack from that. But the night that the episode aired, she was on Twitter and she defended it. And then so many people were under her comments saying she has Native American. Her heritage is Native American. And a lot of people are trying to educate her and her fans about that, like the fact that yes, that might be her heritage, but if that's her heritage, wouldn't you know that that is not a costume, that they don't like that? But like I said, she doubled down on it. But then when Bravo issued their statement, then Kenya came out with her statement, and Andy asked her, "So you say that your heritage is Native American? Where's your, what part of the Native American are you?" So she said that her family was from West Virginia, and that at one point, some of her aunts lived on a reservation. I got a side eye for that one. Like, I have Native American in my family. Like, it's on my mother's. Well, it's on my biological mother's side, on my grandfather's side. And my grandfather's, I think it was his grandfather, was a Native American. No. I'm trying to remember. Because my mama told me, the one that raised me, she's told me. It was her, so I think it was my great-great-grandmother's, her father, and my mother knew him. Damn. When I sit here and think about that, our bloodline, we last a long time. Jesus. Because that was her great-grandfather. Ooh, I just thought about that. That was her great-grandfather, and she knew him. Just like I knew my great-great-grandmother. Lord, we live a long time on this side of my family. Do I want to live that long? Not a chance. I do not want to be 100. But yeah, so she said her aunts lived on a reservation, and I was just thinking to myself, if they lived on a reservation, does that 100% make them a Native American? Like, I don't know too much about that, so I can't really answer that question, but does that mean that they're Native? And even if they aren't, even if you are Native, couldn't you have said what your tribe was? Like Cherokee, actually that's the only tribe that I know, because that's what tribe my grandfather was. My great-great-great-grandfather was Cherokee Indian. But, wouldn't you be able to say that? Now, Kenya did make a good point, and I saw people talk about it on Twitter, because people were upset the fact that Bravo spoke out on it, and they started bringing up things that have happened in Bravo past. They mentioned the thing about Luann dressing up as Diana Ross, which was tacky as hell. But Luann got chewed out for that one, and that's what people don't remember. Luann got chewed out for that one. They mentioned Portia's sister Lauren dressing up as a Native American. They mentioned Monique dressing up as a Native American on Real Housewives of Potomac. They also had a picture of Drew dressed up as a Native American. And I agree with Kenya. Why can't we all admit that we were wrong? Honestly, even if I go back in my past, I know I've said and done some things that, in this day and age, it would not be taken, very well at all. I know I've said some controversial things, not on this channel, but I know I've definitely said some controversial things in my childhood. But once you know better, then you do better, so to speak. So then Portia also mentions the fact that, With Kenya, she wants understanding immediately, but she doesn't give that out. Like her comment about Portia with the Black Lives Matter and equating her, talking about her not knowing about the Underground Railroad. I'm sorry, Portia. I can never forget about the Underground Railroad and the 265-day comment. But Kenya says that what you're saying, you never vocalized it, and Portia's like, yeah, yes, I did. Like, I want to watch what happens live, and I addressed, that what I did was wrong and what I said was wrong, completely wrong. Oh my God, how many more lines I got? For this to be, I don't know how I'm talking so long for a reunion that was lackluster. Let's move on. All right, you guys, next let's talk about Drew. I really want them to retire this whole old daddy situation because I really, really, truly hate it. Y'all say that old daddy stuff like the man is dead. He was in jail. Like, just say biological daddy, stepdaddy. What's wrong with that? Like, I call my stepdad. I ain't gonna say, I would never say my old, well, I don't even know my biological father, but even if I knew him, I wouldn't say old daddy, new daddy. That's disrespectful. So then she says that, Josiah and his biological dad, their relationship is growing, and that, he just celebrated his 10th birthday and his dad flew in, which that's a good thing. So then Andy asked Candy, how does she feel? And we talk, now see, here's where the editing kind of confused me. If you guys noticed, at one point, when Candy was talking to them, Ralph was there. But then if you looked at another scene, when Andy was talking to Candy about Riley, there was no Ralph. So I'm like, y'all editing this off. But Candy says she liked that because Drew them are getting a head start on it, whereas with she and Riley built up, there was a wall built up between Riley and Block. So Andy asked her, what's going on with the situation between Block, Riley, and this money. Well, the courts have said, they're giving Block a certain amount of time to make a lump sum payment, and then after that, he has to pay all the back child support. I'm like, really? Really? I never saw that. Because, the people that I know that got back child support, they take that shit immediately. Like, they don't give you time to come up with nothing. If you working and you getting a check, they take it immediately from your check. But okay, Block, get on it. So then, Drew. Honestly, you guys, as much as I like Drew, she was actually kind of getting on my nerves. Really getting on my nerves, especially when she did this fake crime. I'm like, girl, I get what you're saying, but it ain't that deep. So Drew asked Kenya, why did she retweet someone who said that it was cringy for her to have this scene with Josiah and his biological dad? Well, girl, it wasn't. Even a lot of us reviewers said it wasn't cringy. It was just interesting and funny that little boy didn't give one iota of a F about his biological daddy. So you're gonna be mad. Honestly, Drew, I feel like you're picking and pulling with Kenya. Child, I'm on Kenya's side. But Kenya said she felt uncomfortable and she felt that it should be in private. Now, Kenya, we talking about uncomfortable in private and cringeworthy, huh? Team Tori, y'all might get mad at me. I don't care, but Kenya. You want to know what else was cringeworthy and uncomfortable and probably should have done off the cameras? That confrontation that you tried to have with your mother in whatever, was that season 9 or season 10? Whenever you tried to have that conversation with your mom when you went to her house, that was cringeworthy. God, the secondhand embarrassment that I felt for you. And I really did feel that. I really felt, I was like, oh, why would you do that? Like, you just giving people who don't like you talking points. And you did. People like Marlo, you gave her talking points. But that was cringeworthy. Just gonna put that out there with you, girl. Gotta be honest. Like, if I was on a reality TV show, you guys have heard me say this plenty of times, my biological mother and I don't have the strongest relationship. Do you guys think that I would ever if I was on like Love and Hip Hop or whatever, any kind of show that's a reality show, do you think I would ever show up to her house with the camera crew so she can embarrass the hell out of me? Absolutely not. Like, I would never even do Iyanla with her. Actually, nope. We're not even gonna talk about that. Not gonna talk about that. We're gonna move on. All right, you guys. Oh God, more Drew. I did not expect for this first part of the reunion to be so Drew centric. So we talk about Drew and Ralph. We're talking about Tampa at this point. So she said she did think at one point that Ralph was in Tampa with another woman, but she says that Ralph has never gave her any reason to, doubt that he's been unfaithful to her. I'm like, okay, girl, they don't necessarily have to give you a reason to believe. People don't have to give you a reason to believe that. They don't have to give you a reason. I just want you to know that. I really want you to know that. He doesn't have to give you a reason. Just saying. Okay. So Ralph said that he needed to get away and that the beach is his place of refuge. I was like, well, damn. How many beaches did you pass up to get to Tampa? Tampa is far. You can go to Miami, Pensacola, where else? Is it Hanover? Hollover? The new beach. Like, you can go you can go anywhere else. You have to go all the way down to Tampa. Okay. All the beaches that you pass to get there. So then Drew. Drew, I don't know what you thought you was proving when you said that you got the hotel bill and the receipts from when he went out and there was only one party there. You know that don't mean shit, right? You know that don't mean nothing. If Ralph was cheating, that just means he's smart-ish. I say that, but that doesn't mean anything. So Andy asked him, so what was in Tampa? Were you there with another woman? What was it? He says there was no other woman. Don't want to say I didn't tweet it. Don't want to say what's in my notes. Nope. I'm gonna let it go. I'll move on, but y'all can guess what I'm thinking. But if it wasn't a woman, you was with somebody. You can't tell me you wasn't. For 3 days, you needed a refuge. Okay, whatever. So we talk about South Carolina. He says it was upsetting seeing what happened on the show. I imagine it was, but whatever. So Drew, I like you. Oh God, you have me on Kenya's side. Why do you have me on Kenya's side? I really feel like Drew is just picking. I really feel that way with it. Was it a little disrespectful for her to say that Ralph is fine? Yeah. We all know the situation with Apollo, Phaedra, and Kenya. And I was tired of that situation. I don't need that again. And now, she said it happened more than once. And the production did show this scene when they were at, was it Drew's house? It was before they went to South Carolina, and Kenya had this straw in her mouth, and she was looking at something. It could have been production being shady. I don't know. I don't care. It ain't that big of a deal. It really ain't. It really is not. The things that Drew has mentioned in this reunion really ain't that big of a deal. Kenya calling her a stray. Girl, I wouldn't be too pressed about somebody calling me a stray. I really wouldn't. Now, the whole situation about her son and the cringeworthy thing, I'll give it to Drew. That was a little rude. And even Candace said we shouldn't talk about the kids. I'll give that one to you. But I feel like you went a little bit too far with that. You went a little too deep when you started crying. But whatever, Drew. Still like you. I'm looking at you a little sideways. And in this situation with Ralph, it really ain't that big of a deal. But you know what? If it is a big deal to Drew, it is. I'm not, you know what? Let me not say it's not a big deal. If it's a big deal to that woman, it's a big deal to her. Do I think it's a big deal? Absolutely not. But whatever. So then they took a break. Portia and Drew were talking. Drew says Kenya owes her about 14 more apologies. Girl, let it go. Like Elsa said, let it go, let it go, let it go. So Andy went to check on Toya, who was allegedly sick. Oh, dang it. I didn't mean for that to happen. Sorry, you guys. I didn't mean to knock y'all down. But yeah, Toya was allegedly sick. Now, she said that she had kidney infection, something like that. And then on stage, she said it was a cold. I'm actually starting to believe what Fallon said on social media, that, girl, you worried about me coming to the reunion? I'm not coming. And then miraculously, she showed up. You guys know I don't like Toya. I don't see it for Toya. I don't care for Toya. Toya came out to the reunion a little strong, calling Drew SpongeBob. Okay, Toya, whatever. Wasn't funny. Didn't think it was funny. So she says we did see her call Kenya and say that someone in Drew's party came into her room and gave her vitamin C. Girl, what? Yeah, this. I really hope that with the reunion it picks up. I don't know how it can pick up because this season didn't pick up. Oh God! And then next week we got Marlo, so we're gonna be talking about Bolo. Oh God, we got 2 more weeks of this crap. All right, you guys. Drew did apologize to Toya about the whole situation with that person coming to her room. Now, see, in the blogs, I thought she said that it was Ralph that came in her room, but it was somebody that worked with. Okay, you guys, that's it. That's the review. Be sure to like this video. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell button so you guys are aware when I drop anything else. Do me a solid favor, you guys. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Remember to wash your hands, wear your mask, socially distance, and stay blessed, you guys. Stay blessed in these streets. Stay blessed, stay blessed, stay blessed. Into the next one, you guys. Bye, which is Married to Medicine. That episode didn't give me much either, which we're gonna talk about Married to Medicine. But let's get into, that's it, you guys. Bye.